Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do the look that I did in my February favorites video. This is exactly what I was wearing in that video. This is a cut crease, and I figured I'd show you guys an easy technique how to do a cut crease without it being, too confusing, too difficult. You can do it, I promise you. It's very easy. With the right tools, it doesn't matter what makeup you have. I show you how I get this cut crease, and I use neutral colors just so it was more everyday wearable. So I did like a burnt brown, like burnt browns, burnt reds, very neutral. And I also found a new way to do my under eye because I do have a problem creasing there, but under my eyes seems to crease like within an hour. So I found a new way that seems to be working, so I'll show you how I do that in the video. So if you guys would like to learn how to do a simple cut crease, please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some Scotch tape. I'm going to be angling this from my bottom lash line to the tip of my brow, as usual. You may want to put this on the back of your hand and then put it on your eyes just so that it's not as sticky. And then I'm going in with MAC Paint Relief Paint Pot as my base for my eyeshadow. And I'm using a Sigma E40 fluffy brush, and I'm putting Makeup Geek Peach Smoothie. I'm putting this at my upper crease area, making sure not to get this on my lid. It's a very light color, but I'm just using this as my transition shade. Then I'm going in with the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette from Morphe, and this is the second row, second eyeshadow in, and I'm using a Sigma E25 blending brush, and I'm really pressing this into the socket of my crease, so I'm being very, very careful not to get this on my lid, so that's why I'm doing it very, very slow. The key here is to just do this as slowly as possible. I'm just taking this warm caramely brown color, and I'm just slowly putting this in the socket of my crease. And I'm making sure that it's in my upper crease area, so it's okay if you smoke it out a little bit above. Then I'm going into the third row, fourth eyeshadow in. This is still the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette from Morphe, and this is just a warmer caramely brown than the last one we used. I'm doing the same exact technique here. I'm just pushing that into the socket of my crease, and I'm slightly going above towards my brow bone just to smoke it slightly. Then I'm going in with Makeup Geek Burlesque, which is like a really pretty burnt reddish orange, and I'm using a Sigma E65 Angled brush. This is really meant for gel eyeliner, but you want something small and angled like this to make the dark color in your crease really precise. All you're literally going to do is just carve out that crease area with this darker maroonish color, and you're going to keep doing this until it's as dark as you want. So you can keep going back in to make this darker and darker, but I'm literally just carving out this crease area, and then I'm blending it out slightly and very carefully on the upper crease area just to soften it. And I'm doing the same thing with the E25 just to get a little bit more precision. And doing the same thing on the other eye, I'm just using that small angled E65 brush to carve out that crease area. If you want, you can actually take it higher to give the illusion that your crease is higher, or you can just stick to carving it out in your actual crease area. And I'm going all the way in with this, of course, just like my other eye, and just softening it by blending it with those two same brushes I did before. Then I'm going in with Rimmel White Kohl. This is a soft kohl actually, and I'm putting this all over my eyelid. This is actually an eyeliner, but it's okay because it's going to be our base for our white eyeshadow. It just helps it pop more so you don't see any of your skin color. And I'm blending this out with my finger just to make it all blend into one, and I'm making it nice and creamy. Then I'm going in with the Kat Von D Interstellar palette, and I'm using the Urban Decay eyeshadow brush that's given in the Naked palette, and I'm using that white bone color in the palette. You can use any white shadow that's matte, and I'm just putting this all over my lid. This is the time where you can really make that cut crease sharp, and if you did accidentally get any on your lid, you can clean that up with that white eyeshadow. Then I'm going in with Makeup Geek Shimma Shimma, which is also a white shadow, but it has a little bit of shimmer in it. And I'm just putting that on top just to give it a little bit more of a pop. Then I'm going back in and darkening up that cut crease with that same burlesque color and that same E65 Angled brush. Then I'm going to do my eyeliner. This is Maybelline Blackest Black Gel Liner, and I'm using a Real Techniques 202 eyeliner brush. This is from their new Bold Metals collection, and I'm still leaving the tape on just so it's easier to carve out that winged eyeliner. And I'm just going all the way across, and I'm not making it as thick as I usually do because you don't want to cover up too much of the white that we just added to the lid. Then I'm going to go into the inner parts of my eye and go over with some liquid eyeliner just because it's easier for me to be precise with like a felt tip liquid eyeliner. And taking off that tape, wabam, we have a crisp line. Now onto the face, I'm going to be using Smashbox Photo Finish Color Correcting Primer. I did have this in my February favorites video. It's green because it cancels out any color of red, which I do have on my face. And I'm putting some Benefit the Pore Professional on the inner parts of my face to cover up my pores. And then I'm using Nars Creamy Concealer in the shade Light 2 to cover up any pimples and redness on my face using a Sigma concealer brush. This is the F65. I'm just blending that out to cover that up because the foundation I will be using is not full coverage. It's more on the sheer side, so I do need to do this step using a sheerer foundation. This is the Chanel Perfection Lumiere foundation and I am the shade 22 Rose Beige. And I'm using a Sigma Kabuki F80 brush to blend this into my face. And you will see me go back in to touch up those areas that I had old scars with some more concealer with that concealer brush again, just because some of the foundation rubbed off. And I'm dancing, but I'm going in with a damp beauty blender, and I'm using MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NW20, and I'm using a Sigma F66. I'm just using this brush to carve out a triangle shape underneath my eyes and blending that out with a damp beauty blender. And here you will see my trick, which I found makes it easier for my under eye area not to crease. I'm dipping the wet beauty blender in my Sephora translucent powder and then setting that underneath. And then going in with the Anastasia banana powder from the contour kit. Then I'm just setting my foundation with that same Sephora translucent powder with a Sigma F20 large powder brush. And then I'm bronzing just because I am pretty pale. I'm using that Sigma F20 powder brush again just to give me some color. Then I'm going in with Benefit Hoola Bronzer and the Nars ITA brush, and I'll be contouring. So you just want to make the fishy face so that you get the hollows of your cheeks and just contour as usual. And I will also be doing the temples of my forehead. Then I'm going in with Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush, and this is the shade Amour. And I'm using a Coastal Scents blush brush. This is the BRB S25, and I'm using this just to put the blush on my face. Then I'll be highlighting using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, and I'm using that golden shade, and I'm using the Sigma F35 highlighting brush. I'm just putting this on my cheekbones. Then I'm going to do my brows. I'll be spooling them out with the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I'm using the shade Dark Brown, and I'm just filling them in. I'm not going to go into too much detail with my brows because I don't need to really shape them. I just go ahead and fill them in. Then I'm going in with Benefit Speed Brow. It's a tinted brow gel, and I'm just using that to set my brows so they don't move throughout the day. Then I'll be going in with that original caramel brown shade from that Second Rose Second Shadow In from the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette from Morphe. It was that original one we put in our crease. I'm just going in with a flat definer and putting this on my entire bottom lash line. So I'm going all the way in from outer corner into the inner corner. Then I'm using that Makeup Geek Burlesque shadow we used, which was the darker crease color, and I'm putting that only on the outer part of my lash line. I'm doing this from the outer corner to about the middle of my eye. Then I'll be highlighting using the Sigma E44 to highlight, and I'm using Makeup Geek Shimma Shimma just to put this on my brow bone. Then just use any black eyeliner. I'm using the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencil. And I'm putting this on my entire waterline. Then I'm using Stila Magnificent Metals in the shade Kitten, and I'm just using my finger to pop a little bit of that in the middle of my eye. I did say in my favorites video that I do like to do this a lot. Then curling your lashes and using any mascara. I'm using Better Than Sex mascara. Then using a lip liner, this is the shade Whirl from MAC. I'll just be lining my lips. Then I'm going in with MAC Blankety, which is like a really nude brownish color. I love it. It's really creamy and it's not matte.
Then I'm going in with my favorite lashes of all time. This is the Lena lashes in the style Naomi, and I'm just putting these on. And I'm putting it on from the middle, then doing the outer corner like you see me doing here, and then fixing the inner corner with the tweezers. And then I'll be touching it with my finger just to make sure that all of the areas of the band are on my actual eye. And after you put the fake lashes on, that's really the finished look, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed. Thanks!
Next is a Tarte Amazonian Clay blush. This one's a little bit smaller than the full size because I bought like a Christmas holiday pack that had 4 of them in it. But this one is my favorite from that pack. This is called Daydream, and it's like a mauve-y pink, which is like really nice.